Hello and welcome to another episode of Tech Talk on Trust TV. My name is Dorcas Yakubuzala. This week, we'll be looking at the evolution and essentials of web development. To begin, let's take a report on this week's topic. We'll be back shortly. In an era where the digital landscape reigns supreme, web development stands as a cornerstone of our online experiences. From simple static websites to complex dynamic applications, the realm of web development has witnessed remarkable growth and transformation. As technology advanced, the concept of dynamic websites emerged, giving rise to server-side scripting languages like PHP, Ruby, and Python. This era also saw the advent of content management systems like WordPress, which simplified website creation. The early 2000s ushered a new era with the rise of JavaScript and the concept of Web 2.0. This brought about the ability to create interactive and responsive websites, enabling users to actively engage with content. As internet speeds increased, multimedia elements like images, videos, and animations became more prevalent. The mobile revolution in the late 2000s compelled developers to adopt responsive web design principles, ensuring that websites could adapt seamlessly to various screen sizes. With the popularity of smartphones and tablets, mobile-first development strategies gained prominence. The current landscape is dominated by the concept of Web 3.0, which focuses on semantic web, artificial intelligence, and enhanced user experience. Modern web development encompasses technologies like progressive web apps, single-page applications, and serverless computing. Essential components of web development include front-end development, back-end development, database management, web hosting and deployment, and security. Skills for modern web developers include HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, frameworks and libraries, version control, APIs and third-party integrations, responsive design, server-side languages, database management, and security awareness. Aspiring web developers must embrace the latest tools and methodologies, keeping pace with the industry's rapid changes. With a solid foundation in essential languages, frameworks, and development principles, professionals can shape the digital landscape and create engaging online experiences for users around the world. Welcome back from that break. In case you're just joining us, you're watching Tech Talk on Trust TV. We now have on the program Faith Mama Roberts, who is a front-end and smart contract developer, and she's joining us on the program via Zoom in Kaduna. You're welcome to the program today.
Yeah, thank you so much, Lucas. I'm glad to be here.
All right, can you give us a general overview of what web development is?
Okay, so generally web development means developing applications on the web. So the web is comprised of what you call the internet, the browser, that helps people get information globally on their phones. As long as their phone is connected to the net, they can get information. So web development means building and developing applications that are accessible on the web. That is it simply.
All right, can you share your experience with web development technologies and languages?
Okay, so my main language I've been working with for web development is JavaScript. JavaScript is a language, is a programming language that you use to develop apps, develop applications for both mobile, web, and other aspects of programming and tech. So I've been working with JavaScript as a programming language, and the frameworks I use for web development is for front-end development is React.js, and for backend is Node.js, and then for mobile applications is React Native.
All right, have you worked on any projects that involved responsive design for various devices and screen sizes?
Yes, I've worked on a couple of projects. Definitely, when you're working on a project, the first thing you'll be considering is the responsiveness of that web application or website. So you'd always consider the various types of users and consumers that will be patronizing. So they are like patronizing that company that has the website, right, by going to their website. So it's not every time that someone would visit the website with a laptop. Most users are actually visiting your website from their phones. And so when once we're building websites and web apps, we consider those users that will be using mobile phones or tablets, and also few users that will be visiting your site from laptops or a very large screen. And so responsiveness is the number one thing you look out for as a front-end developer when developing an application, so that it appears beautiful on every screen size.
So, how do you ensure the accessibility of the websites you develop?
Okay, so when we talk about accessibility, it encompasses of everybody. At least the majority of your users should be able to access your website. So we talk about those that are um, a bit, how would I call it, the physically disabled, like partially blind or color blind or blind, and others. And so for working with accessibility, you have to work with um, elements in the project, elements in the, whether it's a React project you're building or whatever. So if it's a header, you have to identify that element as a header and tag it among header groups, so that once you use area controls helps for accessibility for users that might not be able to see your screen or that are color blind and all. It would be able to, there's like, it works like an AI that is able to detect that this is a header. So for users that might be using screen readers, the AI will be able to identify that this is a header. So once it visits your website, it will read it out to that individual that is using a screen reader as, this part of the website is the header. This part of the website is a button. This part of the website is a navigation that takes you to a new page and all that. So working with accessibility in the website helps you to be more accessible to other users, all your users. So you're not limited to just users who are physically able, but also users that might not be as physically able as others.
All right, so web development poses lots of challenges. Can you give us one challenge you faced and how you were able to overcome it?
All right, so yeah, there are lots of challenges in the web development space. When you talk about hackers hacking the website, or hackers sending in fake website phishing link that gets users information and their credit card info and all that. So in the space, there are just a whole lot of challenges you would face as a developer. The first challenge is how to make whatever you're building very secure, very secure. And in security, when you're getting users information, you have to work with some level of cryptography where their passwords and sensitive informations are hashed and are not human readable, so that others can't access their information and steal it. And also making sure that the services you are working with, the providers, the hosting service and domain name service and all that, are trusted and secured companies where you buy them from, so that it is not easily hacked. They have security measures in place. Yeah, so as long as you can get that set up and you are always updating your application, it helps to preserve the security of the application. That's apps, mobile apps would always have various releases like 1.0, 2.0, 1.3, and all these major releases are bugs that are being fixed that can be used as loopholes by hackers to hack into a user's information or system.
All right, what are the strategies that web developers use in order to optimize website performance and loading times?
Okay, so for optimization of website performance, majorly is using frameworks. Frameworks goes a long way in building web applications. So that's why there's a difference between a website and a web app. A website is just like a web page that is being built with the web technologies and a programming language. The web technologies is HTML and CSS, and then the programming language. But then this is not optimized because once the website or the web page you build has various pages, once you want to go to a different page in that website, it will load the entire site afresh. So what frameworks helps to do is that it caches this information, like React, working with Next.js framework for React. It makes this site, the technologies like the HTML, the markup, and all that persist and stored. So once you move to another page, it doesn't reload everything afresh. It only reloads just the dynamic content of the page. So this has saved loading time and also has optimized the website. So building web apps makes your website work like a mobile app. So when you're working with a mobile app, when you move to another page, it doesn't really load everything afresh. It's just so swift. So using frameworks helps to create optimization for website. Also, the kind of content you use, the media, like the pictures, the audio, the video content, if you could reduce uploading them directly on the codes that you build, and then just maybe using links, or reducing the quality of the pictures and not using just JPG, JPEG, and PNG, but using like vector graphics like SVG. It helps to reduce the size of the website you are building and optimize the loading time and speed. So these are a few.
How do you stay up to date with the latest trends and advancements in web development?
All right, so as a web developer, you have to constantly research. You cannot get outdated. Why? Because, like I said, there are always new releases of different products or frameworks and libraries you're working with. So, before you know, in the next 1 month, a particular library can have like 3 major release and stop supporting the previous version that you are working with. And then when you build a website with the previous version, you realize that it is not working. Yeah, so you have to be always updated on the latest release and what it is solving in the and like why it was updated. So that means there was a bug that was fixed, or there was something that was more optimized in the new release, and so you'd work with that. So yes, I'm always updated. I'm always staying updated, and for applications I build, I always like using at least the most recent version of the libraries or the frameworks I'm working with to build that application, because I know it will be more safe, more secure, because those are things that have been solved by releasing latest versions of those tools we're working with.
Okay, have you ever worked on a project that required integrating third-party APIs or services? And also, what challenges did you face?
Yes, I have worked on a couple of projects that needed API integration, because many informations and content are dynamic. So the API helps to like fetch those information, catches those information, send those informations right to the back end. And more so, there are informations that the user has to input that the company needs, and so it has to save them in the back end. So the API helps to either get information that the user is requesting for, like going on Google and making a search query. So that is an API that handles that search query and returns information to you. Or going on a site, maybe a contact form, and filling in your details and sending. So you're making a post request. So yes, API, I've worked with a lot of API. API is very important when it comes to user data, database, and all that. There are some challenges that could be from the where it is being hosted, where the backend is being hosted. If there is a downtime, if there is a service downtime, you might not be able to access information from that API. And yeah, and also sometimes the API calls are limited depending on the tier you subscribe to. Sometimes it's just 20 calls per day, and so once you've exhausted 20 calls per day or per hour, you won't be able to fetch information from that API or send information to that API. Yeah, so those are some of the challenges faced while working with APIs.
All right, so what are the skills that is needed of an individual in order to excel in web development?
Okay, so wow. So for the skills that an individual needs, you have to be consistent. You need to have this persistent attitude, because yeah, it could get difficult, and once it gets difficult, you might be at the verge of trying to quit, because yeah, many people come into tech thinking that it's a holy grail out of SAFA, poverty and all that. But then when they come into, they realize that they have to spend quality time to learn, a very long time to learn and understand what is going on before they can even start making money from the space. So with that, it causes lots of distractions, lots of discouragement. I've seen so many people that quit on their tech journey. So the major qualities you need is that persistence, keeping your eyes on the goal, on the future, what brought you into the space, what you want to achieve. And once your eyes is set on that, it will constantly give you motivation to work for it, to work hard for it. Then sometimes many people go like a whole 24 hours into it because of that whole buzz and thrills of being of learning tech, and I want to learn everything I can learn in under 1 month or 2 months, and then they get burnt out. So setting timely like schedules or routines, like for so hours, this is what I'll be doing in tech. I'll be learning this and I'll be learning that, and give yourself time to breathe, to rest, and do other things would help you a long way. Because if you just face tech for the whole 1 month of your life and not doing anything else, you will realize that it is still not enough. You still have a whole lot to learn, and that can make you lose the interest. So setting some hours a day to learn would go a long way. You know, okay, you are making progress. You're making progress every day, and you're doing other things too to complement your learning, and so that you don't go broke at the end of the day and quit. So yeah, set timely routine for yourself. Have that attitude of not giving up. Don't quit, no matter how terrible it gets. There are many people out there in the space that are willing to help, no matter your level. So if you just reach out to people, just go online and post, I'm stuck here, I'm stuck there. You'll see people. Join communities, tech communities. Join tech communities. That is like the strongest platform that would help anybody to rise fast in the tech space and not quit. Yeah, so these are the few I could offer for now.
At the end of the day, SAFA will go when you focus and do all these things that you just mentioned.
Yes.
Okay, can you walk us through the process of web development? A few steps involved in web development.
All right. So in web development, you need to have your environment ready. When I say environment ready, like the platform you'd use to create this application for for it to go on the web. So you need to have a development environment, integrated development environment, IDE, like your VS Code, or Sublime Text, or Atom. These are environment that helps you to write your code and design your website in your computer. And also you need to have a browser. So when you're working with front end, you need to have a browser so that you can see what you are developing. And then once you have your tool set up, you need the internet, definitely. You need a laptop, definitely. Your IDE, that is your development environment, and a browser. Once you have this set up, then the first thing you do is to create the markup for the website. The markup has to do with the write-ups on the website. What write-ups, what is the header in this website, what is the logo, the pictures, the videos. You have to create them, and after creating them, you do the styling. How do you want them to look on your website? How do you want the header to look? What kind of font style, what color, what size? This image, what part of the website do you want the image to show? Is it at the top right, or the bottom right, or the center? After doing that and your website looks beautiful, then you go into adding the programming language that makes your website functional. Either JavaScript, majorly JavaScript now, because that is like the most used and accepted. You work with your JavaScript to make things functional. So once someone clicks a button, you want something to pop up and say, "Hi, welcome to this website, take a tour around," and all those things. So that is how you build your website and make it functional. After making it functional, then you need to post it. You need to put it online. What you just did, and use and then you have to subscribe or use free hosting plans like Netlify. And also it is a good practice to work with GitHub, so you push your code to GitHub. So no matter what happens, even if you lose your laptop and or your code base is already online, you can use another laptop to pull it from where it is saved and keep on working on your project. And also once it's online, other developers can help you to improve your code base, to make it more standard and professional. And then host it on maybe a free host for the period if you want just users to test it. Once you host it on Netlify or GitHub Pages or Vercel, people can have access to what you just built in their various devices. And also make sure to make your website responsive. So with a mobile phone, with a tablet, with a laptop, it will look good and beautiful on that device, on that screen. And after that, if you are doing like a full stack, then you go into the backend. You would have created your API calls that you could integrate with your front end. Deploy means hosting that backend or front end on a server that can be accessed. And then doing that, and then when users interact with your website, it has a database where the informations are being dropped, then you can see it. So the whole flow of the web development process starts with first designing how the website should look like. After the design of what the website should look like, then developing the front end of the website where users will interact with what you're building. Then the back end, integrating the back end to that front end to either get information or send information using your website, and then hosting and deploying your website for users to use. Then when you are done with testing and you want to go live fully live, then you can subscribe to paid plans for hosting and domain name services.
All right, thank you so much, Faith, for joining us today on the
Yeah.
program.
Thank you so much, Dorcas. It was a great time.
Okay. We'll go on a quick break, and when we return, we'll bring you tech tips. Stay with us. Today on Tech Tips, we'll be showing you tips that can help you excel in web development. Step 1. Stay updated. Web development technologies and best practices evolve rapidly. Regularly follow tech blogs, forums, and online courses to stay up to date with the latest trends and tools. Step 2. Practice responsive design. Ensure your websites are responsive and look great on various devices. Test them on different screen sizes and resolutions to provide a seamless user experience. Step 3. Version control with Git. Use Git for version control to keep track of changes and collaborate efficiently with team members. Platforms like GitHub and GitLab offer great hosting and collaboration features. Step 4. Learn a JavaScript framework. Familiarize yourself with a popular JavaScript framework like React and Angular. These frameworks can greatly simplify building dynamic and interactive user interfaces. Step 5. Browser developer tools. Master browser developer tools to debug and optimize your code. They provide insights into HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, helping you identify and fix issues quickly. Step 6. Performance optimization. Prioritize website performance by optimizing images, using minification for CSS and JavaScript, and implementing lazy loading for assets. Step 7. Security practices. Follow best practices to secure your web applications. Use HTTPS, validate user input, sanitize data, and protect against common vulnerabilities like XSS and CSRF attacks. Step 8. Mobile first approach. Design and develop with a mobile first mindset. This ensures your websites are optimized for smaller screens and progressively enhanced for larger ones. Step 9. Learn command line basics. Proficiency in the command line is valuable. Familiarize yourself with basic commands for tasks like navigating directories, running scripts, and managing files. And finally, Step 10. Testing. Implement automated testing, including unit, integration, and end-to-end test to catch bugs early in the development process. And that's how we wrap it up today on Tech Talk. Don't forget to drop your thoughts and contributions across all our social media platforms. My name is Dorcas Yakubuzala. Goodbye.